and welcome back. Here I have I will be talking about the skills of the innovator, and there is a very nice book by the authors here. There's several authors, among them there's Clayton Christensen, but also Dyer and Gregersen. And it's a book published by Harvard, and the title is The Innovator's DNA. So what are the core skills of the innovator? And in this book, they come up with 5 core skills uh, which are at the center of becoming or being an innovator. Associating, so connecting one thing to another, things which might be irrelevant or do not seem to connect to each other. So the art of associating. Questioning. An innovator seems always to be questioning, asking questions, but also questioning what exists and the environment within which he is, asking questions. The art of observing, sitting back, looking around, finding out what people are doing, and maybe an interesting part of observing is what they are not doing. So what is missing from the picture? Networking, working together with other people, with people from different branches, from different fields, with different backgrounds. And then the 5th is experimenting. So conducting trials and tests and seeing does the idea work in practice. So one book, The Innovator's DNA, and this is the 5 skills they come up with, and this is what I feel an innovator is like. And by the way, the book here has no connection to the points here. So why on earth do I have the book on the right and then the things on the left? Well, I needed a nice picture, and the title of this book is nice, and it connects to the points I have here. But if somebody happens to read the book, please tell me what the book writes about. The point here, however, is that what do I feel an innovator is like? Well, we have talked earlier about convergent and divergent. So an innovator has many skills, and I feel that he's able to work at the very far end of these skills. So on the one hand, he's lazy enough to observe, but very hardworking. So tough enough to take the innovation all the way to implementation. He's lonely, so he can think independently, but he can also work in networks, and therefore he has to be social. An innovator sees the big picture, but on the other hand has a great eye for detail. He works well with theory, concepts, abstract things, but he takes these into practice. An innovator has to be sure of himself, almost arrogant if you like, self-conscious, but at the same time he has to be humble, know that he doesn't know something, and sort of in this way push the thing or the idea forward. An innovator has to have knowledge, competence, but he also has to be aware of what he does not know. An innovator, because he lives in a, if you like, in a independent, lonely, or let's emphasize the independent adult world, he has to have the maturity of an adult, but at the same time he has to have the curiosity of a child. There was a speaker I was once listening to who pointed out that from the perspective of a small baby, an adult looks like a giant baby. So If you like, an innovator is a giant baby. Now, all of these many faces just simply leads to the situation where perhaps an innovator is doing what Louis Pasteur recommended. He has a prepared mind, and chance, another word for chance is serendipity. Serendipity, chance favors the prepared mind. So this is what I feel an innovator looks like. Also, three skills which I would underline is that the innovator, there are three skills here: the researcher, the inventor, and the experimenter. And they are skills which I feel are at right angles to each other. So very, very different skills. Uh, an innovator has to have the skills of a researcher. What a researcher really in practice is doing is correcting mistakes, being very careful that what you know is really what the facts, that you really understand the facts, the data correctly. And this is a sort of detailed thing. A lot, I would phrase it as research is correcting mistakes. On the exact opposite or right angle to it, if you're in a three-dimensional world, the inventor is always, in a sense, jumping to conclusions. And there's nothing wrong with jumping to conclusions, except if you're writing your research thesis in which you should not do this. So you can feel that this is a different skill. And then there is the third skill of putting things into practice, where the value is that the thing works, not in why it works. So these three fields, researching, experimenting, and inventing, is a way of balancing between divergent and creative thinking. Thank you.